So, the past 9 months have been something. It's probably been some of the happiest days and some of the worst days I've had in my entire life. And honestly, I wouldn't go back and change a thing. So, like I said, 9 months ago, I packed up and moved interstate to go to uni. And I was terrified. And if I was to look back at the person who got in that car with all their stuff and moved down here, while I would recognise them, a lot of people may not, especially my friends here, because who I was back then is probably quite different to who I am now. Like, quite different. The person I was back then, I can't even find a way to describe, because to me, I'm still me. I'm still that bubbly, naturally red-headed girl who isn't redhead anymore, who loved gaming, who was a big geek, who wanted to become an IT teacher and just wanted to excel. And everybody thought I could do it. Everybody still thinks I can do it. They would tell me I'm a smart person, I'm strong, I've got a good will or something, but what I didn't realise is all those compliments that people would give me about moving interstate and saying, oh, you'll figure it out, that sort of stuff, became expectations. Or at least that's what I turned them into. And that was hard. It still is hard. I still don't think I'm living up to everybody's expectations, because moving here has been one big struggle. But, you know what, I'm slowly coming out on top of it. I moved down here and moved in with some family friends. Family friend's daughter, actually. And they were the nicest people I've ever met. And they helped me so much in coming out of my shell and not just sitting in my room and going to uni and that was it. The guy that was there probably is the reason I am not still sitting in my room and just being a little hermit crab. He was always talkative and always got me to talk and always got me to smile when I was down, and a couple times, even after I'd moved out, when I was upset, that's where I ended up. I ended up back at that place in tears, and they would talk to me, and the guy would just accept me in and make me dinner and let me stay and cheer me up. And that was something that I love. Coming back to uni, I got through year one. I've got through semester one, all fine and dandy, HDs everywhere. Got a lot of friends eventually, thanks to one guy from baseball, which had some really weird connections. But I got through it. And then the holidays happened, and to be honest, shit hit the fan. I ended up coming out of a 3-year relationship because the people we weren't the same, or mainly I wasn't the same. The way I see it, I grew up tenfold, and I apparently wasn't the person they fell in love with. And I feel sorry for the fact that they now feel sorry that they were ever acquainted with me. And that's hard. That's hard to hear. That someone who said they loved you now no longer wants to be your acquaintance. And I'm okay with that now. I hated him for a long time. Well, not even a long time. It was like 2 months. And then I realised that if I needed to move on in my life, if I needed to be the person I wanted to be, I just had to move on. And now, every now and then I get cranky because I hear something from the past from one of my friends, and I go, why? Why would he do that? Why would he do that to me? And then I realise that I don't care anymore. My life is my life, and if he doesn't agree with it, well, then stuff him, because I'm happy, or well, I'm becoming happy. I then went into semester 2, and so much of my experiences come from this past semester, because I went on a huge roller coaster ride. I moved on. I thought I fell in love with someone else, and I'm not going to say I didn't, because at the time it felt like that. It's just I was so caught up in it, so caught up in wanting to be in another relationship again, because that's all I've ever been in. I didn't realise that they didn't reciprocate it. I don't even know if that's the right word. And so I spent a lot of my time unhappy because I wasn't... I felt like I was the problem. That I wasn't good enough or anything like that. And I come to realise now that wasn't the problem. I'm good enough for anybody. If they don't like it, then they don't like me. And I met some of the greatest people coming out of that, and I had some good experiences, I had some bad experiences, and come to the end of that, where it kind of ended messily. We went from talking daily to barely talking at all, to him now living 7 hours away, and we're actually back to being good friends, because shit happens, things change. Then comes the next month or two, where I struggled and I battled a lot of demons in my head. I missed a good 2 weeks of uni because I just had that much depression and anxiety and stress that I could barely get out of bed and get up and find motivation to go to uni. The only real thing I had motivation for was getting up and going to work, because I needed that to not have more stress on my life. And then I met someone I met someone a while ago, but he became my best friend. And we dated, we tried it, it didn't work out. But the feelings that came out of that for me, I'm now going to have to deal with for a while. Because, you know what? I fell in love, and honestly, it sucks. Because, once again, shit happens, and things change. I came out of uni, like I've finished uni for the year now, and I'm just working and gaming and making me. I'm working on myself. I am battling this depression that I've had for so long, and I'm getting there. There are more happy days than sad days now. I've found something to fight for, and I've realised that you don't need someone next to you all the time to be able to fight it. I have my friends everywhere, and they'll always be by my side, but I don't need someone right next to me, shoulder to shoulder, to be able to beat this. And I probably could have realised this a long time ago, but I'm stubborn, and I was scared. A lot of things have probably contributed to it, like I'm just about never satisfied with my money. I'm always terrified I'm never going to have enough and things like that. But that's kind of what growing up and being an adult is. Like, you grow up and you learn things, you have experiences, and you grow from them. And the last 9 months, so many times I said, I wish I could have gone back and redone that. And then only recently, after some of the most recent experiences, I've come out and said, well, actually, no, I won't. I don't want that. Because if I went back and changed things, then this experience wouldn't have happened. And I cherish that experience, actually. And so now I have to put up with the good and the bad. The bad being the demons in my head, and the good being the friends I have, the memories I have. one of the biggest helpers I've found is, I remember always being told that exercise is good for depression and just sort of laughing at it and going, I'm doing fine being a slob in my bedroom. But actually I've discovered what they were saying. So about a couple months in, I started baseball, and even having never picked up a baseball bat, having never swung a bat, thrown a ball, that sort of stuff, I still went in and I did it. I got hit in my first game on my thumb and almost broke it at my first at-bat, and that didn't deter me, because I wanted to come back and prove that I could do something. And I was so dedicated to that club that I even got an award for it. And that just made me want to stay even more. Coming into the current season, I discovered I'd pushed myself too hard. I really wanted to learn how to pitch, and I took it too hard too fast and almost destroyed my shoulder because of it. Thankfully, my best friend or boyfriend at the time really pushed me to go to a physio, and so now that's getting fixed and I'm coming back stronger and better than ever. And I'm really excited to go on and continue playing, because I love baseball and I love how it makes me feel and how it helps me, and it's kind of like an anger and stress relief being able to smack a ball and swing about even if you miss. Like, you're still out there doing something. You're not curled up in bed wasting away. Who I was 12 months ago is probably completely different to the person I am today. Like, I mean, I still mostly look the same other than my hair, which I decided I needed to change because I was a different person, but 12 months ago, I was going to a robotics competition and excited that I was going to have formal in a week, because that's just who I was. And now, that's still me. I'm still me. I haven't changed so much that I need a new name or something like that. So many people have turned to me and said, you've changed or you've grown up. And I'm like, I don't think I've changed. I think I just found who I am a lot more than I had before. And that's okay. To grow up and to change so much that people constantly mention it, that's okay, and people shouldn't be scared of it. If I was to go back and tell myself something that, like everybody asks, what would you go back and tell yourself if you knew everything you knew now? Honestly, there's not a lot I would tell them, or tell me, because if I was to go back and say, don't fall in love with this guy, don't do that, don't try this, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I wouldn't want that, actually. Yeah, I've had quite a few breakdowns because I just couldn't deal with the stress with uni or with just my mental health. But probably the only thing I would tell myself is, you're gonna make mistakes. But that's okay. And I was told at one point that a lot of the mistakes I made were stupid. And you know what? Probably some of them are. But I made them, and I'm human. I make mistakes, and I learn from them, and I grew from them, and to have that held against me isn't something someone should do. I sure hold a grudge if it was personal, but don't hold against me the mistakes I've made, because the amount of grief you're giving me for them, I probably gave myself 10 times more and kicked myself for days on end. And look at me now, battling depression, becoming better and stronger day by day. I'm starting to accept that even though I thought moving here was probably one of the worst decisions I ever made, more days I'm deciding that actually it was the best decision I ever made. Because I was given a chance to do what I wanted with my life. It wasn't constricted. If I chose to do something, I had to deal with the consequences, and so many times I have. But that's okay. Because the last 9 months, I wouldn't change a bit.